In one of the most disgusting revelations coming out of the lockdown files, we discover a conversation between Matt Hancock and his team talking about announcing a new variant just to scare the general public in order to get them to follow the rules. Welcome back to another episode of the Lockdown Files. All the leaked WhatsApp messages over the last few days, we've been covering various stories coming out of it, and some of them have been just ridiculous. Some of them have been more political gossip about Matt Hancock being shocked that people found out that he was cheating on his wife. But some of the stuff have been quite serious, and one of the most serious revelations about what I'm about to tell you in this video. We're going to show you the leaked WhatsApp messages between Matt Hancock and his special advisors. That basically the headline is, one of the messages he said, "When do we deploy the new variant?" And this is about announcing that there's more risk, there's more danger around the corner. You have to stay at home. You have to clap at 8 p.m. on Thursdays for the NHS because they need to be praised for all the dancers. Now, putting aside the NHS stuff, there is a big problem inside the establishment who are actually, they themselves undermine the NHS. You know, it's not really about saying that everybody in the NHS was dancing. It's not really about that. It's about the fact that the culture that politicians and the political circus have created in Westminster and across the country has resulted in this. So, these are the messages between Damon Poole, who was the special advisor, the media special advisor for Matt Hancock, and the health secretary himself. Hancock said, "We frightened the pants of everyone with the new strain. But the complications with that Brexit is taking the top line." Okay, so he feels sad about that. Damon said, "Yep, that's what will get proper behavior change." Okay, fair enough. And then Matt Hancock said, "Well, so when do we deploy the new variant?" So get the news to talk about the new variant, basically. Mr. Poole said, "I've been thinking about this, and I think that we need to be more cautious. The strain, that is. I think that you made the point earlier, but we need to keep schools off paperwork and agenda." Yes, I agree. And it continues. They're saying, Damon Poole said, "It's worth doing a bit about no leaking at the top, I think. Big risk with the variant. The right-wing papers would go for a renewed push for let it rip in terms of the virus on the basis that the jab strategy is undermined." And then Matt Hancock said, "Well, that's why we reassure on the vaccine." Oh, you're a genius. Absolute genius, Matt. So they were saying that, well, if we keep announcing new variants that they keep coming up, yes, it does scare people, but actually right-wing newspapers would say, well, that proves that the jab is not working. So just let go. Let's go with the herd immunity. So they were in a bit of a dilemma. They didn't know how much to scare the public without undermining their own jab program. I'm pretty sure there was this, the job of governance in this country, the role of it was supposed to be to govern for everybody, to actually make sure everybody is safe in a very logical and transparent way, and to use science as your evidence to back it up. But no, of course they were never going to do that. And now we know. All the things we guessed at the time has been proven right. Matt Hancock also was talking to Patrick Vallance. He asked Patrick Vallance, who was the chief scientific advisor of the government, "Have you seen that very interesting survey?" Patrick said, Sir Patrick said, "Haven't seen it yet, but heard a verbal output a couple of days ago. We'll try to find it now." Okay, I've seen it now. That was very quick. Very good, consistent with the ONS study, all pointing in the same positive direction anyway. And then Matt Hancock said, "Yep, I've just done a press conference where the media interest is only in the gloomy Cambridge survey. So the truth. But if we want people to behave themselves, maybe that's not a bad thing." Patrick Vallance said, "I agree. Suck up their miserable interpretation and over-deliver. Really?" So they were basically saying, even there's another survey that came out at the same time about the latest data showed, it was more scary to the public, even though it went against the progress that the government made with the virus. Matt Hancock and Patrick Vallance said, Maybe it's a good thing to use that to scare people again. And they're like, yeah, let's use that. They're all miserable. Let's just scare them off. Simon Case. Oh, God. The top of the civil service also got involved. To be fair, with all these leaked messages, Simon Case is the one that's coming out worse than anybody else. And apart from Matt Hancock himself. So this is quite interesting. This conversation was about face nappies. That, it might, well, more mask covering and mask wearing might be the only thing to consider. Effectively free and has a very visible impact, again, to scare people, to see people wearing face nappies. Okay, that's interesting because it continues by saying that I'm not sure that got us much further, did it? Basically, we need to get compliance up, as in, we need to get people to be scared again. We actually have to be cautious. Again, that's again talking about the compliance issue. Matt Hancock then responded by saying, I think the problem is that the livers are not in the hand of number 10 and the Department of Health and Social Care are harder to pull. I honestly wouldn't move on any small things unless we move on a lot. The only big remaining things are nurseries and workplaces when it comes to face nappies. And then you had Simon Case responding and saying, well, yeah, I agree. I think that is exactly right. Small stuff looks ridiculous. Ramping up messaging, the fear, guilt factor is vital. I suspect the London Nightingale coming into use will feel like a big public moment, especially as I guess it will be full with a couple of days. So, which is quite interesting. That was their hope. So, firstly, get people to wear more face nappies because other people would see them on the streets and they get scared. Secondly, Simon Case was saying, yeah, if we get to the Nightingale hospitals, the temporary hospitals that they made, to use them and get the cameras and media there, people will actually be more scared. But the problem was, they didn't have to use the hospitals. But at that point, there was no need to use Nightingale. The capacity was not undermined, the NHS. So the whole plan completely fell apart. But again, these people think we're stupid. A lot of these things we already guessed at the time. But it's important to talk about it now. It's good that we have actual concrete evidence of what sort of conversations they're talking about to differentiate between those of us who were still doing guesswork, saying, well, this doesn't look right, we have to question it, as opposed to some who went a bit more crazy. So you have to, it helps to create some common sense from all sides, by the way. People went crazy on all sides. It's important to create some common sense ground in this chaos to know who needs to answer some serious questions. But it's all, by the way, all this is out now, but are we going to get any consequences? Not really sure. I want to get your opinion actually on this one. Do you think, now that we have all this, are we going to get anybody to be punished for this? Or are they going to just get away with it and become knighted or become a lord? Because that's usually what happens if you cause trouble. You get punished by being sent to the House of Lords or becoming a sir in this country. Let me know what you think. I'm Mahyar, Tousi, and we are the media.